you know, you're going to probably get the heebie-jeebies on it. I'd say the same thing with this wing. First of all, you got mid-range here and a total lack of liquidity. You know, in a hot market, we got to have better stocks. I mean, you got to have hotter stocks. BDL, BDX. You know, this one too, right? It's already drifted back its gain from pre-market. This thing's not going to work for you. RL looks okay, but you know what? This may, you probably won't be able to trade this too if it fades off at this 200. Morning, everybody. How you going? So, Glenn, you got to focus in. More volume, more liquidity, and more heat, right? You got to get more heat. If you don't have the liquidity, man, if you have a e-liquid stock, so like something even like an AXSM, I was watching it yesterday, even though it did 2 million shares in volume, when you were watching it, there was a spread, you know, the bids were getting pulled, it's not even holding supports, and it's just utterly from a lack of volume. In this market right now, you're seeing like the real heaters, like the stocks that are really cooking, they're doing 20, 30, 40, 50 million shares a day in volume, right? Like look at Roku, 30 million shares. So like in the market, like when you're really cooking right now on just some of like the high beta names, like you just need that monster cock volume. Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. You need a monster volume to get it going. So just think about it on that aspect of it. Steve, let me see your list here real quick, brother. So you got APHA. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4. Steve, I'd probably leave this one alone. This is a day 4 of a move, day 5 of a move. You know, if you chase it on strength, so guys, anytime you're on day 4, day 5 of moves, if you chase it on strength, the bottom could just get dropped out right away, right? Because you're going to get pretty much the whole world trying to short the thing, and pretty much everybody else that's in it's pretty skittish about it. So, you know, I stay away from a day 4, day 5. You could do it if you were like really a pro at it and you knew how to go, if you could long short all day. But unless you got that kind of slippery skill, it's gonna be hard. And these things have been hard to borrow. Like I haven't even been able to find borrows on these things. You know, this one like really just had its breakout yesterday, but you're still on day 5, top of the Bollinger Band. You know, you're really running into kind of a creepy spot. On big dips, you can take it and try to long it, but you can't chase day 4, day 5 on strength. All right, so like everybody wants to be a breakout trader, but you can't buy the breakout on day 4, day 5. You can only hit on big flushes. AMD, you know, AMD's, yeah, it's just kind of creeping down. Haku Paku, Wealth Fund, Voodoo Doodoo Doodoo, Trim Stake in Advance, Microservices. It might not matter much. You know, sometimes something like that is just, you know, it'll kind of push it down for a few and then we'll see how it goes. It's still got room down to maybe 22 before it starts to bounce. Its earnings was bullish, right? Earnings breakouts, the volume that confirmed it was really bullish. So, you know, overall, you know, I like AMD to the long side. It just needs a couple days of rest to really chill. I do like all your other plays, Steve. All right, so guys, let's take a look at the general market here. You know, we're just kind of drifting higher right now. You know, we probably got this date with this 200 SMA. One thing I'd be just mindful of is we're kind of at the top of the Bollinger Band. Usually, the last few times we've been here, like at the top of the Bollinger Band on the Qs, we've pulled back for a few days. It doesn't mean you're going to crash or anything like that, but usually what happens is when you kind of hit a little bit of a resistance level, you may chop around for a couple days, go sideways, or just pull back slightly, loosen up the range, and then from there, you know, you can kind of continue on. So just be mindful. I would expect, you know, a choppy couple days here while this loosens up and builds out some more room. It doesn't mean the market won't go up. You know, we may kind of just quickly thrust out of it, but just something to be mindful of. You know, you got 90 stochastics, touching the top of the Bollinger Band. A light pullback or even just a couple sideways days will be helpful to stocks. It'll allow, you know, people to come in and get a little breather on some of these bad boys. Let's talk about the gappers here real quick. What's up, Evan? How you doing, man? Where you been? The CDXS looks okay. My only worry on this one so far is it doesn't have any volume coming in, only 17,000 shares. When you have, you know, a gapper that's like a biotech, it kind of reminds me of that EOLs yesterday. When you have a gapper that's a biotech, you want to see at least 500,000 shares of volume fire off into the open. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to have the liquidity you need. But definitely, this one definitely should have a decent amount of range on it. I got this Estee Lauder on watch. Only if it holds over 150. I'll look for an ORB on this one. It should actually move pretty well. It's got good enough range on it on a daily basis. You know, I usually see you could have $7, $8, $9, $10 range on it. CHD is probably the cleanest out of the gap down plays. You know, you got one test, two tests. This would be the third test to support that breaks. You got room down to about 57. Billy, I didn't see your watch list today, by the way. RL, break over the 200. Only if it holds over the 200, though, right? So when you're looking to take like an ORB or you're looking to take like some kind of play to the upside that's like earnings based, it's got to have, you know, it's got to have like really, really specific, right? You got to have really, really specific idea of where the supply may come in. So the supply will always come in right at the 200 unless you can get over it, right? So, you know, we've got to just be real mindful that we need to see this thing do a couple things before we can get this thing going. CNC. Now, I do like this CTRL too. We're breaking down this trend line over here. You're kind of still at near the lows of pre-market, but you know, if we dust this kind of these moving averages and this trend line and kind of hold down over here, this one should have some juice. Big caveat on this one's going to be the SSR is already on it, and frankly, with the float this low, it could have a spread. When you're looking to short, it's just easier to short thicker stocks. You know, stocks that, like when you're trading to the upside, the float matters a lot more than when you're trading to the downside because the bid just drops out. So my worry on this one is with the SSR on it, and it's going to probably have a spread. If you don't get the precise entry, what'll happen is you'll start grinding near lows, and then it really only take a couple idiots market ordering a few thousand shares to, you know, put a little SSR squeeze on it. So you got to be really careful with your entries when you get a spread and you get an SSR. So that's usually the combo that gets you a little bit, that's usually the combo that makes things a little bit weird. So just kind of be mindful of that. And then this AMRS is getting pumped today off some, you know, pot stuff. I don't know if this thing will hold or not. You know, if the pot market in general pulls back today, which it looks like it could, you know, then this one may just kind of get dusted down with it. But if the dips get bought in these, and look, stocks are a lot harder to kill than you'd think. If the dips get bought in these, like right now, like you can see, this thing's already dipping down $3. If the dip gets bought in this and it starts to get picked up, then you're going to start to see a run in this thing again when you get a chance. Stocks are hard to kill. They don't just kill in one shot, right? You got to kind of keep trying them. That's why shorting can be so tough sometimes. Short sale restriction, brother. That means you can't short it on the bid. What do you guys, what's all your favorites, people? Anybody got a heater? Shaq? Yeah, Shaq does look pretty good, bro. No volume on this thing, 700,000 shares in volume. Man, that's a little bit light, but, you know, in general, the chart is hot. So, like, usually a stock like this, what I'm doing is I'm looking at this for, like, more of a swing trade. You know, when you swing trading, you don't have to really care about liquidity as much because you're going to have smaller shares. Like if you're day trading, say you would have 1,000 shares of this, right? But if you were swing trading because you're going for a much bigger gain, you're going to have a looser stop loss and a lot less shares. So when you have that, right, you can, you know, trade something that's got a little bit less liquidity because you just won't need it. So just always got to be, you know, mindful of that. You know, TVIX is going to be dead for a while, Joe. TVIX only works in bear markets. So like even if the market is flat today, the TVIX will just keep bleeding out. You know, long-term TVIX always goes to zero, right? That's just the way it goes. If you look at TVIX long-term chart, it always always goes to zero. So, you just got to be mindful of that. Like, it's meant for a certain type of trading, and we're not in that type of trading right now. So you'll see this thing, right? This thing pre-adjusted split was, $1 million, right? So it just bleeds out, and it'll keep bleeding out probably. Whether it bounces today or not, I don't know. But in general, you'll see this thing back at $5, $10 or whatever, within a couple weeks probably. Good, 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 good. Oh, somebody asked about BP, huh? Let me see. British Petroleum. This one is going to be tricky because you're like kind of nestled under this 200 SMA. It also is an ADR, so it doesn't have actually that much intraday range in it due to the fact that, right, it's not an American company, so it's trading overseas. So you won't necessarily get a huge range to it, so just something to kind of keep mind of. Yeah, Team is a nice stock. This one's been pushing too. This is like really the right sector, right? Team, Twilio, they're all in the same sector. They're all butt buddies, right? So they got boom, 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 boom. These guys are all buddies over here. That's the hot sector to be in. It's just a little bit tough right now. I've been watching this one for potential short. If it just gets a little bit more extended, we'll be able to kind of dust this thing. Good, good. Anybody else? Yeah, I just take a lot of the... Yeah, so I do got Glue on the list too. I do think Glue may have a shot. So Glue missed its earnings today. You could get this thing kind of drifting back towards 8. It's a good eye on that one. I would definitely keep Glue on the list too. Good idea, brother. Yeah, NTNX is nice. In a hot market, every stock looks good, and this one is really good. This one looks like a swing trade to me. My only issue with it is up 4 days in a row, which I usually don't like to enter a swing when I'm up multiple days in a row. I like to try to catch them like as they're going, but you do got the look on it. SPH is another one that probably would be a swing trade. If it can come out of this range. Probably not the easiest of day traders, right? This is like a retail stock, but in general, it does have a good look to it. So I definitely keep that on the look and do what you got to do. As always, guys, it's been a pleasure. I'll be in the Bulls on Wall Street chat room if you need me. Trading all day on screen share. If you guys like what we do, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's do this, peoples. We got the bell, baby. You know what we got to do.